Happy Sabbath, everybody. I'm hoping that you are well. Thank you so very much for taking your time to join me. I am so excited for this series. I will be calling it the Sabbath Reflection series because it's just an amazing experience to share things that God has shared with you, especially on the sanctified day, because he just multiplies it by manifolds. I would like to welcome you again. I'm hoping that you are going to be inspired, be encouraged, be motivated by today's reflection, because I was empowered by what I heard today at church. As we are going on with the series, I will be bringing in guests, of course, to also share their own experiences of how the day was, especially now that we are only going to church like few hours, so the other hours we will use them to share with you. I'm hoping that you're good. You have been having a blessed week. You have been having a productive week. If not, let's take the Sabbath to rest physically and recharge mentally, spiritually, and start on the new week with vigor, with determination, but most of all with God right by our side. Let's get started. So many things today that were shared. I mean, it will take me the whole day to tell you guys all about it, because it was a wonderful Sabbath. From the Sabbath lesson itself, so powerful. We were talking about the Sabbath today, how it all began, how it came into existence, what was God's intention when he created the Sabbath, the benefits of the Sabbath, how we can keep the Sabbath holy. It was a bliss, really, to the divine service, the song service, of course, always. The lesson that took my heart the most, okay, not the most, but what I wanted to share with you specifically today, was the message that was shared by the elder during the elder's prayer. And this, I have heard the story so many times, but the way that he brought it forth today for me just was like, oh, this is powerful. Of course, I have added a few more points, but in essence, the whole idea was we need to be intentional with what we are doing. We are reading from the book of Mark 5, verse 26, starting roughly from verse 25, going down. There we find a woman who had been having an issue of blood for 12 years. I mean, I struggle even today to just endure 5 days of menstruation periods. I can only imagine for 12 years, that has got to be draining as a woman, because it's so uncomfortable. And maybe it even came with pains. So I can only imagine what she was going through. In verse 6, we are told that this woman had been going to physicians and nothing was happening. She was not getting better at all. Rather, it was getting worse. However, this one time she heard of Jesus, that Jesus had came into the area where she stays, and she purposed in her heart that if she can just touch his garment, she would be healed. Let me read for you. Verse 27. When she heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. That is the first lesson that I want us to take today. That we need to be intentional with whatever it is that we are doing in our lives. In verses 26, we are told that this woman has been going to physicians. It has been her mission to be healed. And as a result, she has been consistently going to physicians seeking for help. With whatever it is that you are doing, with whatever it is that you would like to achieve in your life, you need to be intentional. Every single decision that you make needs to be a decision that leads you to fulfill your mission. Otherwise, you'll never even get to the destination at all. So you need to be mindful of the things that you do today, because they are the deciding factor of whether you get to the tomorrow you want. So one thing is certain, this woman has been intentional with what she wants. And when she heard that Christ was coming through, her intention was to be whole. Her intention was to be healed. And she went into the area where Christ was with the intention of being whole. But from the past, or for the past 12 years, she has been working towards that. So she has been consistent with what she wants to achieve. I do not know what it is that you're suffering from. You may not even be suffering if you may be working on something. May you be consistent. May you be intentional with whatever it is that you are working on. You may be suffering with something. There's something so powerful that I would like to share with you only at the end about being intentional, about being consistent, especially when you're suffering. Our second lesson that I would like us to take is hard work. We are told that, or even really from our general understanding, we know that when there's a crowd and this crowd is looking at someone doing something, it's always hard to get through, it's always hard to get to the person in the middle. And this woman, she pressed behind in order to get to Christ. And sometimes, if not all the time, is what we need to do in order for us to get to where we want. We need to be willing to press. We need to be willing to push. We need to be willing to break. We need to be willing to go over in order for us to get to where we would like to be. What am I saying? I'm saying work hard. Push. Do not limit yourself. Do not tire. You will be exhausted, yes, but push. It's not going to be easy. And just like this crowd, just like this woman with the crowd, you may find yourself being stopped, being limited, being discouraged by people. But you do not stop. You still push because you have a mission. You are intentional with what it is that you want. So this woman pushes through the crowd, presses behind in order for her to just touch the garment. Not to hold, not to hug Christ, but to just touch a piece of Christ's garment. That's all. Which brings me to my third point. Many a times we are only willing to put in the hard work onto big things. If we see a big investment. But it is the little things that make up the whole. This woman, in her heart, she understood, she believed that just a piece of Christ was enough to make her whole. So with us today, with whatever it is that you are working on, do not wait for it to be so big. Do not wait for you to get so much money in order for you to start going after your dreams, in order for you to start that business, in order for you to study that degree or master's or honors or PhD, whatever it is that you would like to pursue. Do not wait for the big moment, because it is the little moments that bring us to the big. And if you invest right in the little, it grows, it blooms to something great. It is just a piece of Christ that made a whole woman who had been suffering for 12 years whole. So go after what you want. Believe that if I am intentional, if I am hardworking, if I am faithful in the little things that God has entrusted me with, He will make me whole. This is ultimately what brought wholeness to this woman. She trusted, she believed, she had faith that when she touched Christ's garment, she will be healed. If she had went there, no matter how intentional she was, no matter how hard she could have pressed, no matter how much of a garment, how much of Christ's garment she could have held onto, if she didn't believe that she was going to be healed, nothing was going to happen. So it is ultimately faith that brings us to success, that brings to fruition our hard work. God acknowledges and recognizes our efforts, and He blesses them. And He blesses them. Christ says to the woman at the end there, in verse 34, "Daughter, thy faith had made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague." Your faith is what's going to lead you to succeed. Trusting, believing in God, being intentional, hardworking, being persistent, consistent, being determined. God will make you succeed. That I believe. So may we go out there, go after our dreams, as wild as they may seem sometimes, but if it is God's purpose and will for us to get there, we will. We just need to put in the work. And trust me, God will bless you, not little, abundantly. All you need is a faith as little as a mustard seed. God bless you. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you liked it as much as I did, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, and of course hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a video. Have a good one.